Welcome to the Board of Health hearing. Today is May 27th. I would like to do a roll call for the quorum purpose. Dr. Gogaoli. Here. Dr. Kenneth. Here. Dr. Laskow. Here. Dr. Beer. Here. Dr. Waller.
Yeah. Present.
Tom Lee here, and staff Tom McKeon here. And we have the quorum. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. In accordance with the Mayor General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is desiring to make such a recording or transmissions. Seeing none, we have quite a few items on this agenda this afternoon. The first one is septic installer approval. Tom DeLua, septic installer representing Sure Things Environmental LLC, 136 Factory Road, Unit 2, Harwich, requesting approval to become a licensed septic installer in the Town of Barnstable. Is Tim here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Is there a sign-in sheet that you need to sign in?
There's one on the table. Mr. DeLude passed our difficult exam. Not too many people pass, so congratulations.
Congratulations.
And he has good references, so we have no objections.
Okay. Any comment from the board? No? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Done. Quick.
I know. Nice to meet you.
Only the rest of the meeting goes this way.
I hope so. I hope so. Yep. Congratulations. The second one is tobacco hearing. This is postponed from this month into next month. This is David Laura, PC, representing CB Perkins, Cigarette, Lounge and Bar, 649 Main Street, Hyannis, map parcel 308-134, requesting a formal appeal in connections with Massachusetts State Code 105 CMR 665-0.010D, minimum standard for retail sale of tobacco and electronic nicotine delivery systems at licensed smoking bar. So this is postponed until next month in June. Two septic variants. The first one is John O'Day, Sullivan Engineering, representing Andrea Origo, owner, 7 Aaron Lane, Hyannis, map parcel 291-017-011, requesting a septic variance for reduction in minimum setback distance from replacing septic tanks and existing secondary treatment tanks to addition under the constructions from Section 310 CMR 15.211 of the State Environmental Code, Title 5. Hi, John. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. Here with me this afternoon is the owner. This matter, the site was before the board 2 meetings ago. As you're aware, there was a septic tank that was damaged by an approved addition that was ongoing, and it was replaced at the tank, and the board requested that permits be sought. That location is within 10 feet of the addition, and so we informed you that would have to be back to request a variance for that, which is what's shown on this plan. So that new septic tank, it was a 1,000-gallon tank. It was replaced with a 1,500-gallon tank. It is 5.9 feet from the addition, and the existing nitro, which was permitted previously, is 4.7 feet from that addition. The surveyor, when doing the as-builting of the addition, did note that the addition had been lined, and it is just a tank. The board had also requested some information about daycare facilities at the property. Those were reviewed with the health department in 2023. There are children there ages 3 months to 3 years, all kind of well within the diaper age range. And at that time in 2023, they were told that no further action was required for that age group. the plans, we had some preliminary comments from staff. They noted that the basement floor plans showed one bedroom, which was labeled as one. That was a basement renovation, which was permitted. There is also, as shown in that plan, a kitchenette area. The basement was finished under that building permit. It has not been furnished, used yet at this point, but the owners would like, thinking towards the future, the ability to use that space as an ADU, and DEP has recently come up with some guidelines on how the world is to treat those situations. And so we have requested a variance for the requirement for multiple compartment tanks, and their guidance does allow the boards to consider situations where, at least as adequate protection is provided. My understanding is that in general, 2 compartment tanks are to reduce the amount of total suspended solids that might make it to a leaching field. And we believe that the nitro tank, which is existing, would provide more than adequate compensation for that. So we did provide a revised plan to the department today. I can hand it around, and I highlighted just the one note that we added to the plan for that additional request. And I think with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. Any public comment on this one? Seeing none. Staff?
Staff has no objections. I also want to mention, I talked to John O'Day about the 2 issues, the daycare center and the multi-compartment tank requirement. And as he stated, these children are in diapers and do not add to the flow. And as far as a multiple compartment tank, that only is something to increase the longevity of the system. It doesn't affect environmental protection in any way, so we have no objections. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comment from the board?
There's a nitro, what is that? That's the system, the tank. Does that allow extra bedrooms?
The board did, yes, they approved the 4th bedroom years ago with the condition they put in a nitro, if you recall. And that's what they have, 4 bedrooms.
So there's no
plus
change?
a bedroom now in the cellar.
My understanding is they're changing the layout out of the house, so it's not an increase at all. Overall, it's 4 bedrooms.
So it's still going to be 4 bedrooms.
That's correct.
So which one are you taking out?
We provided you with the proposed floor plans. Is there one on the first floor now? Or was? There was a bedroom on the first floor of the house,
Yes.
and now it's kind of been opened up into living room.
That's a big room.
Yes. So there's 1 in the basement and 3 on the second floor.
Any other question from the board? Because the nitro tank, after your septic tank, will kind of catch up all the suspended solid as well. So, ideally, on the effluent side of the septic tank, you can put a filter in there to filter out those suspended solid before going down there. I don't know whether that's available there, but I don't have a problem with this setup, so.
Move to approve.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Thank you very much.
You want any of these plans back, John?
No, they were just reduced copies.
You can have this. Thank you. Thank you for working with us. The second septic variance, Dan Ogeler, PE, Down Cape Engineering, representing owner, Jane Small, 290 River Road, Marston's Mill, map parcel 060-005, requesting a reduction in minimum setback distance from the soil absorptions to the BVW and septic tank to the BVW as required from the town of Barnstable's Code 360-1, location of component with respects to water body. Dan.
Good evening. Afternoon, Chairman Lee, members of the board. Dan Ojala, I'm a civil engineer and land surveyor with Down Cape Engineering in Yarmouthport, and helping Bordelati Construction, who is helping out Jane Small with the upgrade of their septic system here at 290 River Road in the Mills. I think this will be a pretty straightforward approval for you folks. We're under maximum feasible compliance, doing the best that we can with what we have. It's a huge lot, about almost 9 acres. It's only 3 bedrooms. You've got the floor plans there. There's an office without a door, and no increase in flow. And so you take a look and see what you can do to make things better. Here, the groundwater adjusts up fairly high, and there's a general flow from the northwest to the southeast. And so we move the leaching further from the pond, which might be the most sensitive receptor to the south. It's over 100 from that pond, and it's within about 50 feet of the bog, but we did maintain the full 50 that Title V requires, so it's local variance only on that. Did a pump system with a pressure dose leaching, which spreads the effluent out across the aquifer and prevents ponding, where you might possibly have some pathogens. When DFAO and Waite did their analysis of Title V prior to 95, they found that this vertical separation was more important than a horizontal separation. So in holding to that, we've achieved the full 5-foot separation to the adjusted groundwater, and the highest measured in the area. Again, there's quite a bit of water moving through this area, but we're up high above it. We'll have a good filter underneath, and it's only 3 bedrooms on 8.7 acres. So I would respectfully request under the local bylaw, the SAS BVW 100 to 50.1, and the tank from BVW 100 to 73.1. And again, we're the down gradient flow is more than 100, so I think it's a pretty straightforward approval. Be glad to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, Dan. Any public comment on this one? Seeing none. Staff?
Staff had no objections. Question I have is, what does the bog, you said the pond is more than 100 feet, but the bog is 50 feet from the SAS. What is the bog contributing to? Any other resources?
Yeah, it's connected to the Marston's Mills River, I think, that flows through that area. So it's all interconnected waterways. But again, the groundwater, the pond is a little bit lower. You can see it's about a foot lower. So you'd expect to be a slight gradual flow from northwest to southeast. So that's why I mean that, although we're a little bit closer to the bog, the groundwater will probably intercept the pond.
Are you all set, Tom? Any questions from the board member?
Are all the bedrooms big enough? They're bigger than 7 by 10? You don't have any dimensions on this?
Yeah, they would be grandfathered in if they're not.
Is that true, Tom? A 7 by 10 bedroom would be grandfathered in?
Yeah, actually 7 by 10 is large enough. You only need 70 square feet to be counted as a bedroom.
So 7 by 10?
Yeah.
So if it was less than that, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all okay on that. It's an older home anyway, so.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve?
Second?
Roll call. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you, Dan.
Great, thank you for your time.
The next item is the pool variance. Dakota Capillary Otis, manager representing Everleaf, Cape Cod, and Communications Way Apartments, owner LLC, 265 Communication Way, Barnstable, map parcel 314-044 of lifeguard exemptions for State Sanitary Code 105 CMR 435.23. Good evening.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Not bad.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your time. Just appearing today in an attempt to get an extension of, we had a change in ownership in December with the same management contract or same management company, so just looking to get a variance extended to the new ownership in continuation of what was set up in previous years. Thank you all for your time today.
What's your name?
Dakota Caparelli.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any public comment on this one? Staff?
Yes, the Board of Health adopted a policy that you need to have a lifeguard if you have more than 90 units. This property has over 200 apartment units. The staff objects to this granting any variance at this property in regards to lifeguard. These are people that are usually middle-aged or older in this group that live there. And I thought that some of the tenants would be coming to the hearing today to testify. I don't know if anybody's here. Oh, so you didn't call in the public?
I did.
Oh, let's hear from.
I'll try it again.
Bottom line is, we object to this request.
Okay. Any public comment want to make on this one? I thought I called a public comment on this one.
So we are in a 55 and older,
Do you want to speak to the mic?
my voice is pretty loud. We're a 55 and older building, and those of us that use the pool, we just wade in it. There's no diving allowed, there's no partying that's going on. It's a very quiet pool. Primarily just use it.
Can you turn on the mic?
We're getting calls from upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs cannot hear you.
Okay.
Is the light on?
Please come on, sit with me. Sit with
All
me,
right.
come on, please.
There you go.
So, there's no partying that goes on there. We literally wade there. The deepest of the pool is I believe 4 feet. So there's no diving allowed, none of that. And we just like to do exercises in there, maybe do some laps. As far as lifeguards, I mean, we all are there with each other, looking out for each other. I don't understand what the problem is. I lived in a complex in Hyannis. We did not have lifeguards. It was only 30 units. I understand this is a bigger building, but we did not have lifeguards there.
Are there,
We were all, responsible enough to take care of each other and look out for each other if there was a problem.
how about children or grandchildren?
Very, very rarely, and they are only allowed, I believe, on Saturdays between the hours of 3 and 5 if they are visiting, and they have to be accompanied by their grandparents, by their grandparents. But there are no children in the building, and we very rarely see kids. Very rarely.
And Tom, isn't it my understanding that a variance was granted for this
Not years,
facility?
one time last year without any opportunity for comments. I was here for that meeting.
Okay.
The chairman ran that meeting, a different chairman ran that meeting. And let me say, we have trouble every year trying to get that pool to pass inspections. As a matter of fact, the water has not even passed it bacteriological testing yet. It's been sent to the lab and failed. Every year there's a problem with the emergency phone or the chlorinator with daily testing 4 times a day. The logbook has blanks in it. We have problems there that with the inspections every year.
There's a bacterial test report as part of the application in here.
Yes.
So it's kind of showing that there's some chloroform and some standard plate count.
Are you satisfied with the condition of the pool and how it's run? Well, maybe I shouldn't ask you that, but we're not, I can tell you that.
Any other comment from the board member?
I think the lifeguard issue is kind of a not really relevant issue from my perspective, for the reasons that they've stated. Now, when you've got people who are immunocompromised who are using the pool, it's even more important for it to meet the standards, though. And, I guess I would say that I'd be amenable to a variance, but only with the pool being brought into absolutely good shape. I mean, it's not hard to keep a pool that's got relatively infrequent use up to snuff.
You just have to make sure that you have enough disinfectant in the pool to kill the bacteria with enough contact time to kill the bacteria.
Is it
and be
chlorine or
safe.
salt?
Chlorine, sir.
Okay.
Thank you all for your feedback, very valid feedback. I completely understand where you're coming from. Just to add some detail, I'm a bit newer to the property, just starting in February.
Can you
Turn
put your
that one
mic
on.
on?
Yep, so sorry, you guys-
No, push the
Put your
button.
light.
Oh, there we are.
There you go.
Thank you
Thank you.
guys so much. And again, I appreciate your feedback, very valid, very fair. I started in February with the new ownership. I can't speak to past years or practices, but I can tell you we've been in contact with Catherine, our inspector. We do have 2 full-time CPOs on site, on team, full-time, and we all just completed our Cape Cod CPR, first aid, adult and child certificate classes, if you will. So we currently have 5 full-time employees with those certifications. We'll be adding 2. But I appreciate the consideration, given that everything else is tightly buttoned up as humanly possible. And I can extend, my personal guarantee. I've been working very closely with the Board of Health on everything and anything pool-related.
When do you open the pool?
Our goal was to open for Memorial Day weekend. Clearly, that passed with the surprising results that we got from Envirotech Labs in Sandwich. We're currently working with a new vendor per the recommendation of Catherine Soto. With our inspector had recommended that we look for another vendor to work with. For whatever reason, she asked to do that. That was on Thursday, ending last week, and we're going in the direction she's pointed us, sir.
Would it be a new laboratory vendor instead of a new certified pool operator?
We're using Cape Pool and Spa. So she was a new pool management vendor, if you
Oh, I see what
will.
you're saying. Yeah, a new pool operator.
Yeah,
Okay,
new pool
I'm sorry.
operator, excuse me.
Okay, not a different lab.
Not a different lab. The lab has been delightful. They've been very quick and
Yeah,
responsive.
Yeah. So here I'm thinking, and see what you think. We can grant their variance for 1 year, but within that year, make sure your water quality for the pool is up to snuff and reporting to the health staff to make sure. Otherwise, you're coming back the next year. If they fail, then we will reject your variance. How's that?
I'd like actually monthly reports maybe to be sent to Tom so that we know that it's being, as I said, you've got an immunocompromised population.
Certainly.
You need to,
The daily logbook is testing the pool 4 times a day. What I was referring to is testing the pH, chlorine, and so forth. And that has not been, if anybody looks at that book, they can tell it has not been correctly completed each day. There are a lot of skipped dates and times.
so
A lifeguard would normally do that as part of their duties. You don't have, without a lifeguard, who is there every day to do those, to make sure that's done?
Can you find one of your staff to do that? Fill in the logbook, do the pH water quality monitoring?
Yes, absolutely. So we do have 2 full-time CPOs on site. I think our challenge really is on Sunday, just to be frank with you, something that I'm working towards with all options on the table. My management team's aware. But Monday through Saturday, we have 0 trouble whatsoever with the amount of staff being on site to test 4 times a day. I do know there's also the Ecolab equipment that they have leased and under contract that is supposed to kind of auto-feed and test it throughout the day as well. But I can commit to that requirement and would welcome any inspection at any time from anyone to do a spot check on that book. That, I take personal responsibility. I'm from Harwich. I'm from the Cape. It's a new company. I have no loyalty. I would never open the pool or try to do anything like that to my residents in any way, shape, or form.
I think we should support our health department, and I think we should put this off maybe for a month and see how it works out with the corrections this gentleman is saying. But I don't think we should go against our health department. I mean, everything Mr. McKean said is true, and so I think we should, again, support the health department.
And there's a third option. The board has allowed what's called a qualified swimmer, someone who is not a fully certified lifeguard but knows CPR, first aid, and can check the water, stays at the pool anytime the pool is open. It doesn't leave the pool area. And make sure that they're available to call 911, throw a ring buoy, shepherd's crook, if someone's in trouble in the water, call 911, and make sure they test the pool 4 times a day. That's another option, rather than have, if you can't find a fully certified lifeguard to work at the pool.
Do you have a staff on, do you have such a staff available?
We will be, 7 full-time employees. I think that for a vast amount of the time, yes, we would have somebody, but to be at the pool, I'd have to go back and really put it down on paper. I don't know who I could have at the pool per se. I'd have to get familiar with the requirements to answer it accurately, to be honest. My staff is primarily, in the office, maintenance team as well, but to commit to, 8.5, 9 hours a day, roughly when the pool will be open, to be at the pool, I wouldn't, feel comfortable committing to that without speaking with my management team as well. I think we could get creative and find a solution to it, but again, just would want to be a little bit more familiar with what the qualified swimmer is, exactly what their role is, what you do for breaks. I would just hate to say something in this forum and not be 100% positive.
Don, you're saying something?
Well, I'd like to give the opportunity to do that so that the pool is open, because it is serving, I think, a very important use for the population. I mean, swimming is, and the water aerobics that you may do are things that help people stay younger. So I hate to see it close down. I think if the deepest it ever is 4 feet deep, it's a bit of a stretch given how difficult it is to find lifeguards, period, on the Cape. It's a bit of a stretch to think we're going to be able to find a lifeguard to be there. But, I mean, those logbooks have to be completed accurately. There has, the health department staff doesn't have time to be going back and forth and babysitting this. And I kind of would think, as the management company, you wouldn't want them to. You've got a large population of people there who would benefit from having the pool available to them, but need it to be safe as well as that. So, I mean, I think we should be able to come up with some kind of middle ground.
Where's he going?
What's anybody else think?
Yeah, I'm wondering if we should bring it back next month and give them some time to come up with a solution
I think that's a reasonable,
and establish a good track record.
Understood.
yeah.
All righty.
You can do that?
Perfect. Yes, so I'll work with the town on getting back on the next agenda, and thank you all for your time and for the feedback.
So I
and-
make that motion that we put it off for a month, and
With
Bring
the
it.
caveat that
yes.
you're opening the
You're
pool, but
opening for
doing
the-
all this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that has to pass inspection for them to open it.
Correct.
So we got to do that first. So, okay, I make that motion.
Tom can do the inspection and check with you to make sure. So you did the motions. Anyone second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tom is not here, so I'll let him know.
Thank
Give
you
it
all so
back.
much.
I'll be
Thank
back
you.
in a minute.
So we're going to put this on the agenda, and then if we don't need to, they can cross it off.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
to
No,
be
they
honest, I
come
think
back.
we should put it on the
They're coming
agenda,
back.
and they should come back.
They are coming back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Sewer connection extension request. The first one is Georgiana Schellings, owner, 7 Cottage Lane, Centerville, map parcels 229-088-001, phase 1, SEWH-24-279, requesting extensions to connect to the public sewer for alternate route enrolled. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Georgie Schilling.
Good afternoon, Ted Schilling.
Hi.
I'm an attorney, but I'm here with my wife, and this is our house. So, can you hear
Oh, make sure your mic is on.
Hello, hello.
No, mine's on.
Mine's on.
Okay, okay.
So we're looking for an alternate route for our property. We have, no, our house is fronted on Cottage Lane. You want me to go forward, right?
Yeah.
Our house is on Cottage Lane, which we named, it used to be called Route 28, believe it or not, strange.
Falmouth Road.
Yeah, and any event, we named it Cottage Lane, went through the whole procedure with the town, and that worked out good with the neighbors and everybody. But we front a part of it on 28, and then we have a fence between the bike path, which is next to us, and our fence. And then we've been there 28 years, and we bought it new. And we've planted trees, we nurtured trees, we have a few trees that we're really proud of having. And our estimate from the installer said that they had to take down most of the trees to get the thing in. The problem is that if you go down Cottage Lane, and we're not right on the street, like a lot of the houses are right on the street. We're off the street quite a bit, off of 28. It's much shorter distance coming up on the right side of our house to the septic system. Now, 10 years ago, we replaced our septic system, so it's working fine. We pump it every 2 years. It's just my wife and I there, and we're far away from the pond, and we don't think it causes any problems. But the main thing is to prevent damaging our property, which would be substantial, because we have a deck in the back, and it's just a few feet to the back of the line. So we understand that there's a project, what's it called? The
Long Pond Project 2029, I think is the title of it. That's what
Yeah.
I was told.
And so that's where, there's 4 houses on that road. We're the one furthest from the pond. And so we think that this wouldn't be too much of an imposition to let us do that when that project gets into place.
Thank you. Any public comment on this one?
No.
Seeing none. Staff?
Health staff has no objections.
DPW has sent their recommendation to accept this route alterate the connection point. But they just want to mention that there may be it may result a higher sewers assessment cost because due to utility additional infrastructures. They just want to let you know.
Yes.
Because of the time difference from now until
Well,
we do
there's
it.
a different sewer line, and then when you're going into alternate route, they may reassess
Gotcha.
the sewer
That's fine.
service connection.
We understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comment from the board?
Move to approve.
How long of an extension are we doing?
Just waiting until the second phase coming in when that is
Do we
online.
put a time on that, or?
I wanted to ask you, do you think the town will contact us again, to schedule, to say, okay, now because it's 2029, we want you to have this done by October or November, because of weather-wise and what have you?
Well, DPW sends us a list, and then you have 6 months from that time when we
Okay.
send out. We
All
don't
right,
know if
that's
it's going to be
good.
November, or it could be January, it could be July.
So this project,
Okay.
So it should be,
so this
we wanna say like a
project for the
5-year?
Long Pond area sewer expansion project is scheduled, anticipated between 2027 to 2030,
Oh, wow.
So you've got a range.
Yeah.
sometime.
Wow, yeah, that's good, okay.
But
Okay?
essentially, we want to make it as
Yeah.
long as it
I think they
takes.
want to get there as soon as they can, because it helps protect the pond.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's 3 other homes on there, but Ted and I are the only ones who live there, 100% of the time. Somebody's from Florida. Mrs. Coletti passed away. Her daughter's in New York and doesn't come very often. And then Dr. Elmer's widow lives at the very end. She's there about a half a year, I think. But I don't know if they're just going to continue, once we do it, and then everybody else gets done.
I'm sure
Well,
that's.
should be, that's from the DPW, when they design that sewer line, they would make sure that they're connecting on that same road, I assume,
Yeah,
so.
they have to do that themselves.
This will at least save traffic on 28 for a while.
Right,
Because
right,
they have to come in.
But I have a motions to approve the extension to connecting to the alternate route as approved by the DPW.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tom,
Thank
thanks a
you.
lot. Good seeing
So
you.
we don't need a time or anything, just wait for the alternate, yeah. Got it. That makes
The second one is Paul Mello, owner, 72 Harrison Road, Sandyville, map parcel 229-078, Phase 1, SEWH-24-274, requesting extension to connect to the public sewer for alternate route row/row. Hello, you must be Paul.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As it is now, the town would like me to hook up to sewer on Route 28, which is the side yard of my house. That is a 150-foot run that requires a vascular, whatever type pump it is, to push it uphill. They are going to be putting sewage on my road sometime in that 27 to 30 period you were just talking about, which would be a 30-foot run right off the straight front of my house instead of cutting through trees and pavement and the bike path to hook up to the same T that they're going to be pumping the neighborhood out onto Route 28. And it's financially a lot less money for me to hook up when it comes onto Harrison Road versus trying to run all the way up to Route 28 to do the hookup.
Okay.
Plus, it will eliminate the pump because currently, the way my septic is set up now, the pipe they want me to hook up into is 6.5 feet down in the ground, and it's currently like a 7-foot rise from my house up to Route 28. Whereas if I do the alternative route I want to do, the pipe will be coming out the front of my house, and it will just be all gravity fed into the system that's going to go
Well,
into the main line.
That's the part that I am not sure because I'm not the designer.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that the DBW is
I
going to
spoke with
give.
the engineer, and
the
she explained
DB
to me the depths in the neighborhood and everything and how it would be. And I spoke to Roberti Construction, who I'm going to be having do the hookup eventually if it gets to my road, when it gets onto my road.
Okay, okay. Any public comment on this one? No? Staff?
Staff has no objections. I've been to the property, and I agree with the distances that he just provided. It's much shorter distance to Harrison Road.
I look at the aerial too this morning, so.
The DPW recommends that this request is not approved.
Yeah, I saw that, but they're saying,
And I think the reason may be that he doesn't have a septic system, he has cesspools. 2 cesspools.
well, that's not what they said, though.
Huh?
They said the sewer service for this was provided at the corner of Harrison and Route 28. Upon review of the property, there's no significant benefit to shifting the connection point further down Harrison Road, and in fact may result in more disruption, i.e. impact to retaining wall, driveway, or greenhouse. Thus, DPW recommends the property's request not be approved.
May I speak up on that?
Well, sure, but I mean, I think people are kind of allowed to make their own decisions. I don't really, I mean, they didn't say it's not a legit septic. They said,
No, they didn't say that.
They said it's not a good idea.
They're saying, I'm saying, I looked the records up, and this is cesspool, so those are illegal. I don't know if they brought that
Well-
into,
and I will give you my very biased comment. I realize we're in a nanny state, but I think people should be allowed to make their own decisions, and if it costs them more money, that's their problem, not ours.
well, that's your
mean-
opinion, not everybody's.
I understand. But
That's for sure.
the reason that they're disagreeing is because they don't think it's the right decision to make based on finances and disruption. And, I mean, it's his property, it's not theirs. So, anyway, now you've got the debate.
My system has a cesspool and a leaching tank that's another 50 feet away from the cesspool heading up towards Route 28.
It's not a single cesspool.
Okay.
No, yeah.
It's a cesspool and a leaching tank.
The only thing I can see from the area-wise, I can look at the distance. 30 feet makes much more sense if you can go by gravity versus a ejector pumps to pump up. Yeah, it's almost 100 feet.
I have a plumber that's going to actually take my main line. We're going to go out the side of the house. We're going to turn it, cut through the front of the house. So I'm not going through any retaining walls. I'm not going through any driveways. In fact, literally, it's going to be a complete 90-degree turn from where it's going to be. We're going to hook right up into the
So
main
you're-
stack and push it right out the front of the house.
So you're making the plumbing change inside your house?
Inside the house, so, because I've had problems with my main line before, and I actually had to have it coated because I was having root issues. And I'm going to eliminate that because it's only a 3-inch iron pipe going to my tank, and I'm going to put a 4-inch PVC out the front of the house to make hook up to the septic easier,
Right,
the sewage system easier.
right. Okay. Any question from the board members, too?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Oppose, Steve, oppose. Anything, Paul?
I live on if this is a
Pond. We have harmful algae blooms almost every year. Cesspools are part of the reason.
I live on Long Pond. If this festival is polluting my pond.
Walker lives on Long Pond.
Tom is saying that they have another leaching system coming out from the cesspool. It's not just a cesspool by itself on the existing system.
It's not, is it Title V?
It's,
Yes. It passed Title V when I bought the house.
yes, and it's more than 100 feet from the pond. It's
Yes,
at
it's more
least,
than 100 feet from, it's more than 100 feet from the Centerville River / Herring Run that runs behind my house.
it's hundreds of feet to the pond, right?
Hundreds of feet to the pond, yes.
Okay.
He's up on high ground, too.
I'm up on high ground, and, yeah, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 houses from the pond, up the road.
It's settled down in the pond.
Thank you, we're done. We voted. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The third sewer connections extension request is Wayne Hill Hyman's Creekville General Store, owner 2628 Creekville Beach Road, Centerville, map parcel 246-028, phase 1, SEWH 24-19, requesting second extensions to connect to the public sewer. Is Paul here?
So I approved it, the internal method with the contract, so 6 months was already granted. He's asking for another 6 months. I told him he had to come to the board because I can only grant one extension. It says the reason is to obtain financing. Now, his contractor, Joe Butler, was supposed to be here today, but I don't see him.
No. Do we want to just approve the 6-month extensions for this? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This one is right close to the road. It's not 10 feet from the road.
No. Could I have a motion to allow for the 6 months extensions as a second request?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call. All in favor?
Where is that coming
Do you
from?
do a lot of roll calls at the COM meeting after
Yes,
this?
yes.
Okay,
I'm opposed.
Okay,
okay.
4-1. The next one is the food processor review. James Hernandez, Starbucks US East Public Health Advisor, representing Starbucks Coffee Company, 655 Hyannis Road, Hyannis, map parcel 311-008, and 451 Hyannis Road, Hyannis, map parcel 311-081, to review TPXC for condiment counterfeit as a standard procedure for these locations. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Here, let me just finish signing
Sure,
in
yep.
here. Thank you. So definitely thank you very much for all your time for today. And I'm here today because we want to implement time as a public health control for the carafes in both of our Hyannis stores here in this area. Now with TPHC, our procedures, I don't know if y'all have copies of the procedures, but I made some copies. If y'all
No, we
want.
do.
Thank you so much.
We have.
And a couple of things to note about the procedures. So the procedures, step by step, are in line with the Massachusetts Retail Food Code 105 CMR 59000, subsection 3-501.19, time as a public health control. Parts A and B are definitely part of the procedure that you have, or that we have provided for you. And in addition to that, I guess I'm here today because within the 3-501.19 code, we need to have to submit this to the regulatory authority for review. And just going to open it up if y'all have any questions or comments.
Thank you. Any public comment? I don't see anyone here. So, staff?
I had emailed back and forth, why couldn't you put an ice bath and put the cream in the ice bath to keep it cold, like we do at other places? They would rather ask for this variance. We had a staff meeting. There were no objections to a 2-hour maximum, but we would object to a 4-hour without proper cooling method for the cream. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question from the board member?
I read somewhere, some towns or states require a 2-hour.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, I read some towns or states require a 2-hour. I don't know which. I did read that in here, though.
So, if I can answer?
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
That time as a public health control within the Massachusetts Retail Food Code, subsection B, mentions that if time control is used as a public health control for up to a maximum of 4 hours, and then it has the stipulations that have to be met. And these stipulations can also be, are provided with these procedures that y'all have. And in addition to that, we've rolled out this procedure, throughout the whole U.S. and Canada, and there have been approvals after approvals. It's been approved in many, many jurisdictions, even here in Massachusetts as well.
Dr. Caniff was referring to, you submitted a 2-hour maximum in another area, correct?
2-hour maximum?
Yes. I saw that as well.
It says Canada stores discard time is 2 hours
Oh,
after
okay.
start time.
Yes, and that's
Out of
per
Canada.
that's per the Canadian code as opposed to the FDA food code, which permits for 4 hours.
Now, is this something new?
So this isn't anything new. So we used to, back in the day, before COVID, we would have those condiment carafes, or we would have those containers with milk or half and half, or right where you got like the stirs, the sugar packets, and everything. And it was because of COVID that we had to stop that procedure. Now that we're, far ahead from, those times of COVID, we're kind of reintroducing it back into our stores. And in addition to that, we're trying to make our stores kind of like bringing it back to that coffee house experience that we were once like known for.
Are you talking like a self-service type of idea? Okay. Versus non-self-service?
Why are we more restrictive than the FDA? Or why are we trying to be more restrictive than the FDA?
Town of Barnstable's had a 2-hour rule for many years as a standard because it's cumulative, as you know. Restaurants look at the hours as if this clock starts when they put the food out, but it's actually cumulative from when it was the same food was transported there and was left out here and there. You have to add it all up. It doesn't, the bacteria growth occurs in those 4 hours. I understand, but we've been stricter for that reason, to make sure it's safe.
You haven't answered the question from Tom, whether you can put an ice bath on there.
So with the ice bath, it wouldn't require a time requirement with the ice bath because, that would introduce that sort of variable of temperature control when it's in an ice bath. And, with other food establishments that do implement time as a public health control, that time as a public health control is actually leveraging time in lieu of temperature as a method of control of bacterial growth within the food product that it's being implemented in.
So you're saying the industry standard is 4 hours?
Yes, that's correct.
But would that be also be dependent on the temperature in that space too?
So it wouldn't be, if you look at the procedures, that's why it's very, very crucial. The first step is to, when you remove the milk out of the refrigerator, to take the temperature to ensure that it's at 41 degrees or below. Because then if it's at 41 degrees or below, then it has up to 4 hours before, the bacteria, after that 4 hour mark, that's when the bacteria, begin to proliferate, which sort of coincides with that temperature controlled product being at room temperature or reaching that room temperature degree.
Are the carafes not insulated?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of like some of the, products we all use where it's like, I can keep things cold for 24 hours. Like
Yeah.
camping, right?
I'm also not sure if you take an insulated container and put it in an ice bath that you're accomplishing a whole lot.
Right.
Because
That's true as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And in addition to that, on I guess the annex page of the procedures, it definitely calls out to use a room temperature carafe because we wouldn't want to have a store leverage a carafe that's just been ran through the dishwasher where it's like at high temperature. So in order to kind of preserve that sort of 4 hour time frame to ensure that the milk or non-dairy product that's in there is is safe
There
for
are some,
consumption.
as you're aware, technology has improved, so the type of carafe would be a factor. If they're going to use the ones they had from pre-COVID stored in the back, perhaps they should update to the newest and best carafes.
So in a Starbucks, you can't get a coffee with cream already in it I've never been in a Starbucks. I don't drink
You have to
coffee.
order
but
it.
You can't,
So
when you order it, you can't get it with cream?
So yeah, you can order it with cream, but as I mentioned before, we're getting back to like that whole coffee house experience where we're setting up these carafes like we did in the past,
right.
and it was due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Where we had to kind of scale that back, and the reason why we're reintroducing this, but we're doing it the proper way, by submitting it to various health departments for their approval. And in addition to that, our partners, our employees in our stores that we refer to as partners, they're trained in this. And one of the actual things, which actually aligns with the Massachusetts Retail Code, is that they should always maintain a hard copy of this, at their stores, just for health inspector purposes or for third-party audits, just so they could have written documentation to help support the process.
Someone is actually marking the time, so they keep track.
So they actually have these stickers, these day stickers that they would, once they measure the temperature of the milk, for example, and they say then to ensure that it's at 41 degrees or below, they would then write the time that they that they, temp the milk, let's say like 4:54 p.m., right? and then they would write a discard time on the bottom plus 4 hours, so 8:54 p.m. And then how this will be monitored is depending on if it's during peak or if it's off peak, between 8 and 30 minutes. And if you refer to step number 3, it says carafes will be monitored between every 8 and 30 minutes based on brew method and cadence. In other words, based on if the store is like during peak hours or non-peak. During peak hours, they would be measured they would be checked on every 8 minutes. Non-peak, where there's not a lot of customer throughput, they'd be every 30 minutes.
But they're checking on it to see if it needs to be replaced.
Checking on it.
They're not checking the temperature.
They're not checking the temperature because, they have time.
Just looking at it to see if it's empty.
To see if it's empty, and also to check to see if it's surpassed the time or not. And if it's empty, then they wash the carafe, and if it's over the discard time, then they immediately remove it and wash, rinse, and sanitize the carafe itself. Yep.
Sounds like a pretty well thought out plan to me.
Any other question from the board member? Do you want to do a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Do I turn this off?
Sure.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're the last person. Thank you.
And we have one set of minute, April the 29th.
Someone dropped their phone.
Uh-oh.
Oops.
How'd that get over there?
Oh, he was looking for it earlier.
Could I have a motion to approve the minute?
Motion
Well,
to
a couple
approve.
of questions. And I know this is a terrible job for Mr. McKean to be doing these minutes. But on the first one, the one I recused myself from, I think the best statement in that thing was what Dr. Leskow had said, and it's not mentioned in here at all.
Sure.
And I understand it's a tough time for Mr. McKean to do these things. But again, and I don't think I should comment on anything else since I recused myself. But it's just, it's, Thomas, do the rest of the members, Tom Lee, Mr. Lee, the rest of the members know what happened with this?
No, you can mention it, right?
Can you just, I can add, if you just tell me just give me a synopsis of what he said, and I'll make sure I go back and add it in. It's no
Well,
problem.
No, I think you
Dr.
mentioned about the
Leskow, can you
emergency.
give
Yeah,
a
you'd
little?
have to, that's long gone out of my mind. Yeah, seemed good at the moment.
Well, I think, how about you look at the recording?
Yeah, I can watch the tape. I remember he said, "What are you going to do now? We understand what you want to do in the
Yeah.
fall. What are you going to do now?" Is that what you're
That
alluding
was
to?
the essence of it, I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
What are
asked
you
a
doing
very
for
good
this
question.
summer?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think also related, I think you should have a secretary from the office here with you, like Sharon used to be here. I think it's
Too much.
it's not right. Yes, I think you get diverted.
We're getting this close, but we'll have someone here at the next, I'm pretty sure we're going to have someone here at the next
Oh,
meeting.
that'd be great.
They are posting.
He's the
and-
one most relieves, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to quickly tell these gentlemen what's going on with that?
That's just
Not on television.
No? Okay. All right.
Could I have a motion to approve the minute?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
The next meeting is April the 17th.
April?
Sorry, June 17th. June 17th.
I'm getting
June
out of here.
17th. I don't have a second hearing on June 17th, so we might do something a little bit more with the meeting. You know, I think last time when we went to the CWMP ad hoc meeting and then have a slide presentations. So we're planning to have Tom do that slide presentation for your information for the June meeting. So,
Presentation of what?
So that will be the 17th, not the 24th?
What?
no, June 17th,
June 17th, okay.
yeah.
I-
We went to the CWMP
Oh,
ad hoc
okay.
meeting. So we did a slide presentations to that group.
Oh, yes, when the board requires IA versus.
Correct.
You know, several instances where the board decides they want an IA system. It was just a slide, just explain that.
Yeah. So just give you some background as far as some of the informations that we have. Because June, like I said, I don't have a second meeting following that. So we have time a little bit.
Why is it the 3rd instead of the 4th, you know?
He's on vacation.
Ah, okay. Because I don't have it on either day, so,
He sent another email though.
oh,
If it's a problem, I can change it back.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine, I just don't have it on the calendar.
Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn at 5:01.